Welcome to the Women's Motorsports Network podcast, the show that puts the spotlight on the incredible women who fuel the world of motorsports. From drivers to crew members, engineers to fans, and everyone in between, we're here to celebrate the trailblazers, dreamers, and doers shaping the sport we love. Each episode, we share inspiring stories of females of all ages from every corner of the motorsports universe, past, present, and future. It's a journey through the seasons of life filled with heartfelt moments, laughter, and a whole lot of horsepower. So whether you're a lifelong fan, a racer yourself, or simply curious about the extraordinary women behind the wheel, settle in, relax, and enjoy a fun and uplifting ride with us. This is the Women's Motorsports Network podcast, connecting and celebrating women in motorsports, one story at a time. Let's hit the track. Hello, everyone. This is Melinda Russell with the Women's Motorsports Network podcast. And my guest today is Dan Jacobson. And Dan, I first want to welcome you to the show. I love the jacket hanging back there that's got your name across the back. That's pretty cool.
Well, you gotta help the sponsors out,
That's right. Always have to do that. And so, again, welcome to the show. And would you first start by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I started racing in 1969, and like they said at Flat Out Friday, that's when we landed on the moon. I don't know. So it was pretty funny at the time. And one thing progressed to another, and pretty soon I was on the pro circuit in the U.S. and Canada, and pretty much racing about 100 times a year for 11 years. And then I decided that I was going to retire a little bit from the pro flat track stuff and look at some other opportunities around the country in motorsports. One thing led to another. Pretty soon I was racing sports cars and sprint cars and working with the television networks to do motorsports on television, which was super duper fun. And I did that for a good long time. And then I moved from California. I moved from Fargo to Hawaii, to California, to back to North Dakota, Minnesota area. And a good friend of mine, Bob Reynolds, said, "Hey, why don't you get on that bike right over there and give her a whirl? I bet you can still do this stuff." And so I did, and I could, and well, that led to winning a lot of races in amateur ranks and things like that in different classes. And well, we raced 3 different classes in AMA District 23 here in Minnesota, and over in Wisconsin also. And it was really a great time. I mean, it was a lot of races every year, and especially when you're riding 3 classes, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And so, are you still racing?
Actually, I said that I retired about 8 times now, and I kind of suck at it. But I believe that I'm okay with not racing motorcycle flat track anymore after Flat Out Friday. I really worked hard to be able to win that event in the Masters class, and racing an indoor like Flat Out is always just, I remember from the days when I was racing pro indoor cement tracks and dirt and things like that. I said I had to train rigorously all the time. So when I heard that the Flat Out was going to do a Masters class, and that's the perfect class for me. That's my class. Mm-hmm. Those are my people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's cool.
So yeah.
What was your favorite thing? If you could pick 1 or 2 things of being involved in motorsports, what would it be?
Wow.
Looking back on overall, the overall experience, what really stands out in your mind?
Melinda, I think that flat track was really kind of the deal. I mean, it was the most fun. I mean, I've worked with NASCAR, I've worked with World Outlaws, I've worked with all the different organizations like that in just about every kind of motorsports over the years. And the nice thing about flat track racing is most people can afford to do this.
Yes.
That's a huge difference.
Sure.
And I mean, I raced a lot of sports cars and stuff like that, but that's because I had a big income at the time and a little bit of help from other people.
Yeah.
But yeah, flat track is an opportunity for families to get involved with. And I'm all for the mini bike kids and things like that. And boy, I tell you what, the way women are coming around to racing motorcycles and things like that.
Yeah.
Again, it's affordable, and people can get involved with it at an early age and make your decisions later. I mean, once you're out there in the professional world and all of a sudden you got a family and you got kids of your own, then you can take that step with them too. And it's such a great family opportunity to do something really great together.
Yeah, it is. It makes a lot of good memories, lasting memories for a family, for sure. So how do you think being involved in motorsports has shaped you into the person you are? Or how would you be different if you hadn't been in motorsports?
Oh man, I'd probably be in jail or something.
Oh, don't say that. Hopefully not.
Anyway, no, the racing family, and it's amazing to me how huge that is because of my involvement in so many different motorsports over the years. And it's just what an incredible family of people they are. That's the main thing I look forward to when I go to a race is to get to see my old friends again and all that, and see the little kids and how they're doing and how I can help them, with their progress and all that. I mean, it's half the time it's just like, let them have that opportunity to know that they can go out there and win. I mean, they got to give themselves approval to do that. And that seems to work really good. We do a lot of training with the younger kids and work with the guys that are, racing against us and things like that too. Super fun. And they're all such good people. And, fortunate enough for us, we have the training facility in Minnesota that we can have some parties there. And
so I was just going to ask you about that. Where is that? Where do you go to do training for people?
Yeah, it's near Cambridge, Minnesota. So it's right about in the middle of the state. And Stanch Ranch is a piece of land. It used to be a horse ranch. And so was big pastures out there. And I just rented myself a bulldozer for a couple of days and made some race tracks out there for my son and his wife, Amanda. And now I got a grandchild too. So little Charlotte's going to be, we already got her a motorcycle too. So,
of course you did. That's how families do. Whatever they raced. Yeah. When those kids come through, then that's what they do. Whether it's a quarter midget or a motorcycle or whatever it is, for sure.
Oh yeah.
So you got a granddaughter, and sounds like your daughter-in-law races.
Yep.
Do you think motorsports is a good sport for girls to be involved in?
I do, because I mean, I think it is.
Okay.
I really do. And if Charlotte wants to be a racer too, she's definitely got the genetic makeup to be able to do that. I mean, it's
for sure.
It's there, because Amanda went from quad racing to motorcycles because they couldn't do both.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, well, you got to do one or the other. So, well, all of a sudden she's winning the hooligan class at Flat Out Friday twice.
Yeah.
2 times there. And she's always been a point leader and a champion in the AMA local amateur races and things like that too, in Minnesota and Wisconsin. So she's always super competitive and fast. Danja, it's, you know, he's just a chip off the old block kind of kid. He's the best kid ever.
Yeah.
and he did the pro thing for a while, and now he's always competitive to be on the podium at pretty much any race that he goes to.
Okay.
And of course they had to take a couple of years off for this baby thing, but
oh yeah, I know. Kids always get in the way, don't they?
yeah, right. You know, so last year when I was racing at Flat Out Friday it was February 23rd last year, and so all day long they induced labor Thursday, so this is Friday, and everybody's coming up going, they have the baby yet? They have the baby yet? And that was going to be my whole spiel at the victory celebration afterwards. And so I had to wing it when I won it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fun though. So how do you think you've made an impact on the motorsports industry? What's your legacy?
Well, I started promoting races when I was about 17 or 18 years old, and did probably 20 some races every year for probably a decade before I went to Hawaii. And then that really, I mean, at that time we were getting huge numbers from North Dakota, Minnesota, South Dakota, Iowa, Wisconsin, coming to these events. And, you know, it was fun because there was actually, you know, we were able to focus on getting fans in the stands, and so many of the races, they don't do that anymore. They want 1,000 racers to come through the back gate, and there's nobody in the grandstand.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't make any sense.
No.
You know, and that's why I like the inclusive model that Flat Out Friday does so much, because they're putting on a good show for the fans.
Right.
And the fans are the ones that drive the industry.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you, I mean, if you know, you try to say, well, there was 1,000 riders at this event, you know, that's all well and good if you're selling just parts to them. But,
yeah,
you know, it's like, good grief.
Yeah. We've kind of gotten away from maybe what's important, or what's, like you said, the fans drive the sport for sure.
Yeah. It's kind of like, well, nobody came to watch us, but
yeah. That kind of takes the fun out of it, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
I think that's an amazing feeling to win a race like Flat Out Friday with 15,000 people yelling and screaming and
absolutely
going, oh man, it took me back a little bit, you know, and of course I grew up in the 70s pro racing, where most of the grandstands at a national or regional would be, and the fair races too, the outlaw fair races and stuff.
Yeah.
I probably raced at 60 fair races a year all over. Wow. I think I raced in every county in Iowa.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Would you have any advice for somebody that's younger, that's either getting started or involved in racing? Any advice for them?
Yeah, motorsports is a relationship business, and the better you're at, the more you communicate with the media, your fans, your sponsors, your potential sponsors, all of that. That's where you want to start creating that relationship back and forth. And hey, you might ask them 10 times before you get anything.
Right.
Keep asking. Give yourself a reason that they want that you could do some good for them.
Yeah.
They're all about selling their products, and the fans are all about wanting to follow you. Nowadays with social media, you can build quite an empire, and
you sure can
with
your sponsor.
Yeah. Right. And many of my sponsors I've had for decades now, and that's because they want to still support me even though I'm retired, because they know that I'm gonna keep singing their song and making their brand look good.
That's right for sure. So do you have a favorite memory, either good or bad? Probably more than one, but can you think of one?
Well, back when I started racing, because I didn't have a lot of sponsors, and I made the mistake of thinking nobody's going to sponsor some kid from Fargo, North Dakota. And so I had to kind of earn my way, and I started jumping over cars at motorcycle races, and I'd be racing and jumping over cars at events. So I was making pretty good bank back then, and one time that I don't know, I think I was jumped over cars about 3 times in a week at different tracks, and I was in Alexandria, Minnesota, and it was a packed grandstand. It was really great. It was a big fair going on there, half-mile dirt track. I'd already won the heat race and the trophy dash, and I'm going out to jump over a bunch of cars and try to kind of make a distance record.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a little humid out that night, and I broke traction on the ramp and went straight up and down, flew through the air, crashed like a ton. Lucky it didn't kill me or paralyze me. And the ambulance guys at Iowa said, if I crash, I'm going to be hurt for sure. If I'm breathing, I might not be breathing. I mean,
right.
Because the tendency to knock the wind out of you, the big hurry. So these guys come running over. They left their ambulance and everything else like that. And I'm going to, do the can't breathe thing. And so, well, somebody gave me a blast of air to get my lungs filled up, and I had the ambulance guys just park in the infield. Let me check this out, because obviously you don't know anything about medical stuff. So they did. They followed my instructions, and I actually had a fractured back. And I got back up on my motorcycle to go out and race in the main event. So my point is in all this is don't ever overlook the stuff that that you should do. I should have dried the ramp. I should have done this. I could have been more careful about doing what I know works. And you go, it's good enough. No, it's never good enough.
Yeah.
Always follow every step that it took. The first time you do good, first time you make it, first time you win a race, you keep doing all those steps and you'll be fine. Same with relationships too.
Yeah.
You keep doing all those steps and those relationships will always work out.
That's right. So good advice would be, no matter how often you've done something or whatever, you always have to take all the safety steps.
Yep. Never say, it's good enough.
Right.
Yeah, that's when it's going to get you, because racing is a dangerous sport, and
sure.
And we just we pray that everybody has a safe race, a fun race, nobody gets hurt, and all that, and we want to keep that safety record up all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. So, do you still? I know it's winter, so you're not going to the races right now, but when the racing season starts, where would we find you watching racing?
Well, you're going to find me probably at Flat Out Friday in February 21st this year. I actually, one of our Jacobson racing bikes is going to be in that. Thanks to Motion Pro and Motion Pro, Jacobson Racing, and Stan Ranch, and Retrodyne.
Okay.
Yeah, Retrodyne's a good buddy of ours. Actually, he's got the bike right now. Yeah, doing some last minute, make sure everything works kind of things. And
all right,
I got a really good rider. We're lucky that August is going to ride it. It's going to be really great. I think he'll be in Victory Circle.
That's exciting.
That's exciting. Guessing, but it'd be a nice another win for Jacobson Racing.
Now, will that be on any kind of streaming service?
Oh yeah, they always stream Flat Out Friday. You can go to their web page and it'll have that link right there. You can just click on it and boom, you're there. And you can watch all the races too, because they archive them all. So you can go back to years ago when they
that'd be fun.
Yeah, it's really great fun to see.
Well, I'm going to do that. Check out Flat Out Friday for sure. Is there anything else that you'd like to share on the podcast about you or your racing or what's coming up for your team?
Well, Dan and Amanda, I hope they'll, pick and choose their races a little bit. And little Charlotte went to her first race already, and Dad won. So I would, I would like to see those guys, get back out there a little bit. And Amanda's in terrific shape already. I mean, they both work out a lot. So they're physically ready to go. And then it's just a matter of the mental part. And certainly, mental part of racing is a huge part. Huge part. Yeah. You can kind of get by a little bit with the physical training and, but I might, it's never good enough. Keep doing both.
Never good
the
enough.
Mental training, the physical training, all of that.
Yeah.
I'm 71 years old and I can put my hands flat on the floor. I can touch my toes like nothing.
Yeah.
Nobody's business. And keeping in, good. I'm not as good a shape as I was when I was 40 or 30 or 20, but I'm having a really good time being me.
Yeah. That's the main thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Memories you have and that you have a good life and you have a lot of good things to look back on and say, yeah, I had a good life and I'm happy. And now you're going to watch your son and his wife and maybe one day your granddaughter.
Right. That would be so cool. I can't wait she's just starting to walk now because she's almost a year old coming up here in February 23rd.
Well, we'll give her a couple years till we want to get started.
Yeah. And, of course, at Jacobson Racing, we're a big supporter of all the women in motorsports.
Yeah.
And certainly right before COVID, when we had an amazing bunch of events going to happen at the Sturgis half mile, and then that wiped us out because it was city property, and golly, we wanted to do so much, and we were going to have a big deal. We had so many of the big players, the relationships that were doing things for that, and
it did a lot of damage for a lot of those kind of things.
Yeah.
Sure.
But onward and upward.
Absolutely.
I got more time.
Dan, I really appreciate you taking time to be on today. I've enjoyed talking to you.
Well, certainly call me anytime.
I will.
And we can zero in on any little thing too, because we kind of brushed over the top of everything, and we can certainly do this again. And I keep telling Amanda too that you ought to get her on.
I wrote her name down, so I'll be getting a hold of her. Yeah, for sure.
She's terrific. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Privilege to be on here.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, I appreciate all you do for women in motorsports, and I will definitely stay in touch.
Thank you.
All right. That's it for this episode of the Women's Motorsports Network podcast. We hope you've been inspired by the stories I shared today and feel more connected to the amazing community of women in motorsports. Remember, whether you're behind the wheel, in the pits, or cheering from the stands, your story matters. And together, we're driving change and celebrating every milestone. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with someone who loves motorsports as much as you do. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram for updates, behind-the-scenes content, and more incredible stories. So until next time, stay inspired, stay connected, and keep racing through life. This is the Women's Motorsports Network podcast, where every woman's story is worth celebrating.